We are going to be looking at another problem involving a quadratic regression. This is from Chapter 3, Section 4, problem number 16. Let me read the problem and then we'll start working it together. It says the median annual income of men for certain ages, average ages, is given in the table. We want to find the quadratic function that models the annual income as a function of the average age. Then we want to answer the question, does the model appear to be a good fit? And finally, find and interpret the vertex of the graph of this rounded function. To begin this problem, and we want to find the model, the first thing we're going to have to do is put the data into the calculator. And so as before, one of the first things I like to do is clear out some data sets here. Just to be different, let's put it in list 3 and list 4. So I'm going to clear those two lists out. Now going back into here, we're going to edit, and we're going to go to list 3, and let's start putting in our data. So my list 3 is going to be my ages, and that's going to be my X list pretty soon. So I'm going to put in 19.5, and then we had 29.5. The next one is 39.5, and the next one we have is 49.5, and 59.5, and then finally 69.5. Interesting way to have our data. Looking at the next list 4 is where we're going to put their average income for those ages. So we have 6,960 for the first one. For the 29.5, we have 25,179. And then we have 32,167. The next one we have is 36,526. The next one is 29,526 again, and then finally 16,684. This is the data as in the calculator. Now before we actually do this, let's look at a scatter plot of this. And if we want to look at a scatter plot of this, we're going to go to our stat plot menu. Let's go to this first one here. We're going to turn it on. We do want a scatter plot, which is shown here, so that's correct. And going down to the next one, our X's are in L3, so I have to put in L3 here. And our Y's are in L4, so I'll put in L4 here. Let's clear out stuff that we had before. Let's set up a window. We're starting at 19.5, so let's go just from age 10 to, let's go to age, say, 80. And let's make this a scale of about 10. And for our minimum here, our minimum wage here was 6,900 something, so let's go from, say, 5,000. And our maximum here is in the 30,000 somewhere, but just to be safe, let's do, say, something like 45,000. And let's make our scale here to be at least 1,000. And let's look at a quick scatter plot. This looks like somewhat like a quadratic model here. Now to find the model, we are going to go back into the stat menu. We're going to go to Calc, and we're going to choose the quadratic. And remember that our X's are in L3, so I have to hit L3, comma, L4, and let's see what we get. We have this particular model then, and we're going to round these things off in a minute and put this into the screen. But notice the R² value here is very close to 1, so this is a very good model, as we'll see in a minute when we try to answer question 2. Let me write this down a minute. So I have to go to my pointer here, and I have to also choose an ink color. Let's just do this. Oh, I like the really dark blue here. Switching to my pen here. We have a model then that we're going to have is that the income that we're going to get is going to be equal to, I'm going to have negative 37.2 let's round this off to 4 decimal places. 7.2 times the x squared. And then we have plus, we're going to have 3,546 times the x, and then minus 47,500, rounding this off to 4 decimal or 4 significant digits. That's going to be my model. Now, continuing with this, if I go into the calculator, I can actually put into the calculator this particular function. So I had negative 37.72 x squared plus, I can get this working, 3,546x, and then say minus 47,590, and let's graph that on top of here. Now you can see that this fits our model very closely, so this is a pretty good model that we have here. Okay? And so our answer to this one is going to be, if I switch over to the pen again, the answer to this should be a resounding yes. This appears to be good. Nice fit by graph. Okay. And also, as we saw earlier, that the r squared value was equal to 0.99 something, so that's very, very close to 1, so that's almost perfect. It says now find and interpret the vertex of the function. What I'm going to do to interpret this vertex is I am going to, the vertex is the same thing as the maximum value here, and so I'm going to go to my calc menu, and in my calc menu I'm going to find the maximum. And here's a left bound. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit enter. Wrong thing. I'm in the wrong. Let me see what happened. I'm going to move across. Okay, I'm still doing good. So I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to go somewhere in between here and hit enter. And it's calculating. Now notice here that I have a value of about 47, and we have this maximum income. And so I'm going to have the interpret my vertex rounded off, if I can get this to right. This is going to be about 47 years of age, and I have an answer here of 35,700. What do we have? I'm going to put 750, okay, if I round that off, okay? And so this, remember that this here is the age, and this here is the income. And so interpreting this, this means that on average, men max out their income at an age of about 47 years of age of about $35,750. This completes this exercise from section 3.4.